She's alive! Alive!
So we are 2/3 of the way through our first kind of fanfic episode in a while. And we've tried this before.
Which?
To put a bit of fan fiction into the story.
Yeah.
To not just give you to not just be a movie summary podcast with a twist. To add a little extra to it.
Even though our promotion says we're a movie summary podcast with a twist.
Yeah, but the twist was always just that we were doing mockumentary kind of storytelling.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I've tried this kind of idea of muddling universes, mixing universes in where it fits. We did it once with the zombie thing. And then we decided to try it again. Now, promos-wise on socials, it seems to be going down well.
Yeah, looks like
I mean, it wasn't a hard fit to squeeze the Fireflies in with the Sawyers.
No, it wasn't.
But it has been bothering me. It has been worrying me in the sense of, you know how people can get really
gatekeeper.
Yeah, about their favorite films.
Yeah.
And I didn't want anyone to kind of start getting upset with how I was changing Otis to Chop Top and Chop Top to Otis and so on and so forth. But it seemed to have worked out, and I've enjoyed telling the story. And the third part is fun. I've just finished writing the script for it. It's fun. It's twisty. It's not what I expected. I had a different idea.
Okay.
And then I kind of pivoted last minute. Don't know if that meant I was too afraid to do what I wanted to originally do, or if I just got a better idea, maybe a mix of the both. Okay. But we kind of go all backwards in the next episode, and we cover we touch on a few, but there's two big movies in particular, and one that I swore I would have nothing to do with, because even throughout all of this, I had been very clear that I was dealing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, 2, 3, and 4. I refuse to touch anything that came afterwards because I see them as inferior. They're not
a Texas.
And I sat down and watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre the beginning last week, and that is hands down one of the worst fucking movies I've ever watched in my life. It's terrible.
Very strong feelings there.
It is. It's god awful. And I mean, so next week, obviously, this show's going to run in, and we're going to finish things up with the latest Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which to date I've said is the worst Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
But when you look at them all in a whole since they stopped in 1994, they're all fucking terrible. And people would disagree, and obviously it's subjective. Some people say that, 3 and 4 are terrible. Even the director of 3 said 3 was terrible.
Oh, okay.
He wanted his name taken off.
I know, actually do remember that. Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's because we messed with stuff. Maybe it's stuff because we connected dots that hadn't been connected before. Added a little bit of extra flavor to it, that it's done a bit better. I mean, I released last week to kind of give us a bit of breathing space, because I described this to you best as that episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns
has all the
trying to get the idea, or it has so many illnesses that they're all jammed up in one place, and that's how all these ideas have been coming at me about this Sawyer saga. And they've just been kind of pouring out of me as we went along, but we've been connecting all these little dots and it made something bigger. So to give us breathing room, I just released that. I give us a week off, and we put out like the whole saga so far. There were the 5 parts of the Sawyers before we started the Fireflies. Yeah. And that near 6-hour episode is doing the best numbers we've done since we did Dexter.
That's true, actually. It is. Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy, because it's a long ass episode. It's basically like they were like, we don't want to listen to your shit at the start of the episode, and we don't want to listen to your shit at the end of the episode. Just tell us the story. One after the other. But just as we reimagined Texas Chainsaw Massacre to our own idea of what it should be, now we know that they have their writer-director in for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And what worries me there about that is that word, reimagining.
Well, like you said, what's his name is involved in it as well, and some relation of Henkel.
Kim Henkel and Ian Henkel. Ian Henkel. I'd have to assume there can't be that many Henkels.
Like a son or something.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre have to have something to do with it. But but this is what we discussed. I don't know if it was. I think it was on this show. Was it on this show? We discussed the idea of how... No, it wasn't. It was on a live action when we were talking about the Halloween movies that Rob Zombie made. And we were discussing how the biggest issue with the remakes, or at least the progression of the classics into modern age, the big hurdle they kept having to jump was they kept remaking the first one to introduce fans that were too young to see the original into a new kind of generation of the story. And we kind of realized then as well that the smartest thing that's been done more recently is this requel idea of this is the original story. This story stands. We're fucking all the sequels out the door, and this is a new sequel to the original. The original shouldn't be touched. Let's just move on. They realized that with Halloween, and then went, this is Halloween, happened in the 70s. Now we're going to go and see what happened 30 years later, okay?
Yeah.
And then they did, what else did they do that with? They did that with something else as well that we were discussing. Well, it's become more of a common idea of let's just fucking acknowledge that the first one exists and move on. And I was saying to you, that's really what we need here with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is for someone to say, and it's, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They did it already. Yeah. They pretended like everything after the first one never happened, and we're going straight from the first one to the one that came out in 2022. Yeah. Which, again, shit all over it, because, again, I found a new love for that movie through my own writing and my own putting pieces together. Yeah. So I bridged this gap between 4 and the new one. And instead of just completely throwing out the sequels that came before it, I bridged it over, and that made me respect that my version of the story in my head now makes a bit more sense. Even though I still think it's not really the best representation, but I think I did it some justice. You did do it some justice. Explanation of why Bubba will be acting like this at 81 years of age, and what happens here. You'll get all that on Wednesday. But Curry Barker is the man who will be writing and directing the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre reimagining. Now, I didn't know who Curry Barker was straight off the bat when I heard his name. All I saw was Obsessions writer-director Curry Barker is doing the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Went looking for Obsessions. Obsessions isn't out yet. Okay. It's due for release in the next month or two. So we won't know what he's like there. But then I realized who he was. And again, I still haven't seen this movie, but I know what this movie is, and it created a bit of a buzz. Was it 2 years ago? And I intended on watching it.
He directed it, did he?
It was, when I say it, you probably will remember. It's called Milk and Cereal. It got released on YouTube for free. It's about an hour long as far as I know. And the whole thing is done through, I believe, social media or through YouTube or something like that. A surprise birthday prank takes a turn for the worse when a popular social media duo must face the reality of the terrifying aftermath. And it did really, it's all kind of shot as if they're an influencer. But the thing about it was, at the time, it got like rave reviews, especially because it was a low budget kind of new guy coming out with something that was... it's down to psychological horror, found footage horror, kind of B-movie kind of horror. But, I mean, it got huge reviews at the time. Then it just kind of seemed to disappear again. Not disappear as in you can't get it. It's there. We can watch it. But the buzz around it just seemed to kind of cut out. It was there. There was a buzz about it. But I suppose you know as well as I know when it comes to this kind of fucking media. Things don't last that long. Stories don't last that long. You move on to the next thing. I mean, you know yourself from doing a weekly show that as soon as the show is recorded and edited and the promos are done for it, it's on to the next. Stop thinking about this. Start thinking about the next thing. Yeah. And even before you stop thinking about that, you're already thinking about the next thing and putting that together in your head. Because we haven't even recorded the last episode of our Sawyer fucking saga. And I'm already kind of piecing together what's coming next. So, I suppose because that kind of dropped off and I didn't hear the guy's name again for such a long time.
You forgot about him.
I forgot about it. And I've been meaning to go back and watch that movie. Now that I know he is going to be taking the greatest horror movie ever and trying to fucking imagine it. Which,
Mm.
again, not remake it,
Reimagine,
which means it's going to be different, which means it's not going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be, and that can be a hard line to walk because we've seen reimaginings. They reimagined Black Christmas into a TV 40 or a fucking PG-13 fucking movie, which that's a fuck up.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they reimagined Chucky into something different, and while I enjoyed that, it didn't feel like the old stuff. Didn't feel like what I wanted or was hoping for walking into the room. You know.
Yeah.
So I'll reserve judgment until it's released, but the word reimagining has got me worried.
Yeah, like you said, wait till you see it.
And
There's
you
no
say
point in
Kim
shitting
Henkel
all
is
over.
involved, but Kim Henkel technically was the downfall, as much as I liked his work, was technically the downfall of the original fucking storyline because his fourth movie was the last movie.
Yeah.
He directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation,
Mm.
or The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, depending on your region. And he did Butcher Boys. And Butcher Boys was supposed to be, it was originally a concept that was going to be Texas Chainsaw 5.
Mm.
And it got shelved. There was rights issues. Same as fucking All American Massacre. There was rights issues. And it became Butcher Boys. And the start of Butcher Boys isn't fucking great. Once you get into the Texas Chainsaw part of it and you start to identify the Texas Chainsaw part of it, you're a Texas Chainsaw fan, so you're going to fucking enjoy this because it's just, you know, more of what you've always wanted. And we managed to fit it nicely into our storyline as we went along, and it fit those things together. And see, that's the difference. For regular people just watching this shit as a standalone, as just a movie experience, they're going to be kind of like more judgmental than I am, because when I'm watching these movies, sometimes it is for stuff like this where it's a series of stuff and I just need to bridge gaps from one to the other, to the other, to the other. There's you know, this shit wasn't thought about in the 90s. People didn't, 80s and 90s, people didn't worry about bridging gaps between sequels or explaining things between sequels, because a lot of the time, you know, it was depending on whether you could even rent the fucking movie or not.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whether you could get your hands on the movie or not. So, yeah, I don't know. Reimagining, has me worried. The only thing I would say is I feel like it's impossible for them to avoid having more Sawyers involved in the story.
Why?
Now, on the upside of a reimagining, if you were to go with a direct sequel, a lot of your characters are already dead.
Mm-hmm.
Which causes issues because you can't, I mean, that was one of the kind of crazy things about the 4 movies was that, you know, the Sawyers would die and then the next movie come along and there'd be another few brothers. Again, I feel like I did a good job explaining that. And Corey Barker, if you're the one that's listening to that episode multiple fucking times, great, follow my lead. But the fact that there's a TV show to go with this tells me you have to have the Sawyers involved, because you're not exactly going to be able to have a multi-season or even a mini-series of a non-verbal man in a fucking flesh mask running around his house killing people who enter it.
That's true.
So we're going to need more story.
Mm-hmm.
But again, more story sometimes has hurt these franchises. I don't know. I'm just scared. I'm scared of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for all the wrong reasons. I mean, like, that's the thing. We talk about gatekeeper-ish, but I mean, I know I'm gatekeeper-ish about this because I say Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning was one of the worst things I'd seen, but I had made my mind up about that within the first fucking 5 minutes of the movie, because it was like, fuck me, are you telling me this guy isn't a fucking member of the family again? We're just going to pretend like he was fucking picked out of a fucking dumpster and brought home to this family of people who you've already stripped of their name, their legendary Sawyer status, and called them Hewitt. You know, and there's parts of it I liked. I mean, I like the fact that they explain why the grandpa figure, I can't remember his name, but the uncle in it, why he lost his legs. That's explained well. And the dude, I can't remember his name either, but the dude that played the officer in it, the cop in it, the uncle to Bubba in it, he did a really good job at being a lunatic throughout that whole thing. So, I mean, there is some bright points in it. It's just, I think, like I said, I was lost as soon as it started because it was like, we're doing this again. We're going to pretend like he's not straight one of these families. Like, I mean, it's a point I'm going to bang home next week on the episode is the bloodline ends with Bubba, you know?
Yeah.
And he has Sawyer blood in him. In fact, the entire storyline and investigation into finding Bubba throughout our next story, DNA is key to proving which ones it was him and which ones weren't him, because we're going to kind of play our way through a lot of backwood horrors to kind of get to this point of investigation and stuff like that, you know? So, I don't know. We'll have to just cross our fingers.
Hope for the best.
I am going to watch Milk and Cereal this weekend and see
how
what
good
Corey
it is.
Barker is able, what he's capable of. And as soon as Obsession is out, we'll check that out.
Cool.
And we will try and make our minds up from that. But at the same time, I will point out that although he didn't direct it, and we have accused him of directing it multiple times, Fede Alvarez was a producer in the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and while he did well with Alien, he did our boy dirty in 2022.
Yeah.
And he had producer power. So Kim Henkel having producer power doesn't really mean shit. And unless they want to, unless he's changed his view of how the story should go, then I would have to assume they'll lean into conspiracy again. I think, judging off of the climate that's out there at the moment, maybe again look at what similar to what we did. Let's start looking at the elite. We can have no problem, because I mean, he does, once we get to Butcher Boys, he's kind of abandoned that weird multi-nipple pierced scarification shit that Rockman had on his stomach, and went with the whole the elite are fueling this. And it was very prophetic from 2012 for this to come out, and then like we did in our episode, kind of we pinned it all back on the Epstein stuff, and it's like, well, this shit actually that was said in 2012 in this movie, turns out it mightn't be all as fake as you think. You know, it's not just the ramblings of a madman. It turns out a lot of this stuff actually happened. So we just have to wait and see. So I suppose we'll get into some news before I start spiraling even more about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And another classic coming back, or has come back, in a very different way, and there is very mixed reactions towards it. First reactions to The Mummy by Lee Cronin. They've started hitting online, and they're making one thing very clear. This is not your classic adventure mummy movie. So no Brendan Fraser in this one. No Rock with weird CGI. This is downright nasty, freaky, disgusting, and twisted, with a heavy emphasis on brutal, in-your-face horror. This, and here's that word again, reimagining, leads hard into Cronin's signature style, with multiple reactions comparing it to the Evil Dead Rise even. Levels of gore and intensity are to that Evil Dead standard. Some have even dubbed it Lee Cronin's Evil Dead Mummy.
Okay.
Highlighting just how far it pushes away from the swashbuckling tone of the earlier versions and into full-on body horror territory. Early viewers have also called the movie unrelenting and squirm-inducing, with disturbing imagery and grotesque sequences that apparently don't let up once things get going. It's being framed as a deeply uncomfortable, mean-spirited horror experience designed to get under your skin rather than entertain in a traditional blockbuster sense. One standout element in the reactions is the performance of Natalie Grace, who plays the returned daughter at the center of the story. Her role is being singled out as deeply unsettling, with some comparisons already being made to classic style, possession style horror performances. The film itself runs for about 2 hours, making it one of the longest entries in the franchise, and tells the story of a family whose missing daughter returns years later, changed in ways that quickly spiral into nightmare territory. Now, straight off, I don't know about you, but that, to me, sounds like Pet Sematary.
It does, but I'm still really excited for it.
And, I mean, people keep comparing it to Brendan Fraser's movies. From what I've learned or what I've researched, I don't think they're even the same
But
company.
they're not, because we are getting another Brendan Fraser mummy.
This isn't a Universal mummy.
No.
I don't think Universal. Can you look that up? Can you check who's releasing it? Who's who's producing this fucking thing? I don't think it's Universal. But yeah, there's a lot of talk at the moment of Brendan Fraser and crew coming back for another mummy.
Blumhouse. Yeah.
So this is a standalone
In
mummy
association with Wicked/Good, who were formerly doppelgangers.
movie. Not Universal.
Not Universal.
Yeah, but it sounds a lot like Pet Sematary, except with mummies.
Mixed with Evil Dead, so.
See, Evil Dead's coming up next, and we gotta have a conversation about Evil Dead, because I have some gripes there too, to be honest. Not
the first one, because Evil Dead is my favorite horror movie, bar fucking none. I love that movie.
Fuck it, let's get into it, because I don't have a whole lot to say about the movie yet, because I haven't seen it yet. All I'm saying
I'm really excited for it, and we're going to watch it this weekend.
If we can get our hands on it. I mean,
it was released on the 17th, no? Today's the 20th.
In the cinema.
Take me to the cinema.
So Evil Dead Burns, the next chapter of Evil Dead, is coming sooner than expected. With Evil Dead Burn officially moving its release date forward to July 10th. Now, before you get too excited, that's only 2 weeks earlier than what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Directed by...
Still only about 3 months.
Directed by Sebastian... I'm not even going to try. Vanacek. Okay. The film is the 6th installment in the franchise and continues the modern trend of standalone Evil Dead stories following Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rises. That's my problem.
They're standalone?
Yep.
What's wrong with it being standalone?
I am fine with them leaning into this super gory fucking thing, but it's... horror movies thrive on lore and background.
They do, but Evil Dead has lore. They're standalone movies, but they happen in the same universe. And also, Jason is supposed to be a dead-eyed as well. Like, do you know? I mean,
that's very loose.
It's very loose, but there is lore there. I mean, like, if you look at it, like, evil isn't going to stop. Like, do you know what I mean? One person gets out of it. It doesn't mean it's like, oh shit, lads, it's one of them. We're just going to call it quits here. Like,
what I'm saying is, you look at Evil Dead 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3 in specifically. Because obviously 2 is essentially just a remake of 1 with a little bit more money.
So, are we on about Army of Darkness or the third Evil Dead?
Yeah, but that is the third Evil Dead movie. Don't fucking play up like,
I was asking you here, as in, was it the
third movie?
I know Army of Darkness is the third movie, but when you call it Evil Dead 3, I wasn't sure if you're on about Army of Darkness or the very first in the reboots.
No, or I would have just said the remake.
You see, sometimes it's all over the place.
What this told a story of Ash. They told a story from one to the other, and then they did it again with the TV show. It was an overarching, long-term story that you can invest in. How do you invest in standalone splatter movies? This isn't like, and again, if it was anything but the Evil Dead, I'd be like, cool, right? It's just a gory movie. That's fun to watch, a gory movie. But you go in with certain expectations. You go in with certain thoughts in your head. You go in thinking of Ash versus the Evil Dead. You go in thinking of Army of Darkness. You go in thinking of the original Evil Deads. And what you get is just random people getting killed by an unexplained entity. And by the end of it, it's not so much... let's round it up and have a happy ending. Let's round up and have a sad ending. Let's round it up and have a fucking dark, fucking scary ending. It's just people sitting there soaked in blood and the deadites are gone. And that's it. Move on. It feels like they're turning Evil Dead into a roller coaster ride rather than a marathon. You know what I mean? Instead of working your way through a storyline, it's like, all right, you know what's easier than us telling the story? We're just going to be as absolutely blood-curdlingly fucking horrific as we possibly can. That'll satisfy them. Move on to the next one.
Is
Because
that not the lore of the Evil Dead, though?
But no, wait, not compared to the originals, no. As a fan of the originals, I would have thought you'd be completely fucking like on my side on this.
No,
one.
I like to see the new ones coming. I've always liked to see the new ones coming because I like the first one so much, and there was such a gap between those movies and then the very first, like in the modern ones. But I do think of Bruce Campbell as well when I think of Evil Dead. But the standout for me is the maniacal evil, like, do you know, that kind of way. And the last few movies have done a very good job of like bringing that kind of modernizing that. I mean, Alicia Sutherland, is that her name? I thought she was creepy as fuck, but it still had that, like I said, maniacal, fucking creepy, smiley, but evil kind of.
Okay, but how many times do you do that before that gets boring?
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty of the original Evil Deads. Yeah, it was the blood, guts, and gore. But it was the fact that it was done in such a slapstick, funny fucking manner that you could take the idea of a tree raping someone and laugh at it. You could watch Bruce Campbell fight with himself for fucking... I could do it all day. I could sit all day and watch him fight
I
with
would
himself.
agree with you there.
And the story continues and progresses, and we understand what's going on. And the whole mystery of this fucking story is supposed to be this book. It's supposed to be this book right here. This is supposed to be the mystery of the story. This is what we should be untangling. This is what we should be talking about.
There's also
not
recordings.
Just the fucking dead. Exactly. You're making my point for me. They should be. Why are we not? Why are they not writing stories that look into where these recordings come from, where the book comes from? Why aren't we looking into the lore of how this all happens? Why are we just accepting that these deadites show up, fuck things up, and fuck off again, and then we'll just wait for the next one? And that's
I think we got a taste of that in the Army of Darkness, though.
Yeah.
But you wanted expanded on.
Exactly. They haven't even released this one yet.
I will be honest. Origin movies are my favorite types of movies in any genre. I love seeing a movie and I love seeing the origins behind it. But for some reason, when it comes to Evil Dead, I'd be very happy with an origin story. But it's not something that I'm crying out for in my head of this is what it's missing. And I don't know why it's different to other movies to where you do get origin stories.
I feel like it's missing. I feel like this is going to get dry really, really fucking fast. Because they haven't even released this movie yet. And they already have somebody else writing and directing another sequel. This is Evil Dead Burns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've already greenlit another standalone Evil Dead movie. Look it up. I can't remember the name of it, but it is 100%.
No, I was just looking up to see if there's any Evil Dead prequels in the work. When I type in Evil Dead prequel, you just get Army of Darkness.
There is another one coming. I just feel like, yeah.
There is one called. There is a short movie, done by Sam Raimi with Bruce Campbell called Within the Woods. It's a 1979 horror short, but it's an Evil Dead prequel.
But see, that was probably before they even made Evil Dead. And Evil Dead itself is a fucking student movie, right? They did that for fucking, as far as I know, that's why they remade. That's why when the second one came out, it was essentially the same as the first one, because they had money to make the first one better.
I didn't know that it was. Yes, sorry, you were dead right. Evil Dead was 1981. I thought it was mid-70s for some reason.
I don't know. I just feel like I want to see progression. I don't just want to see Deadites. To me, could be anything. Do you know what I mean? There's no distinction about them. They're just people possessed doing crazy shit. And the only thing that makes a Deadite different from someone possessed by Pazuzu or some other fucking shit is the fact that before they possess you, they do a POV zoom of them flying through the air or coming towards you before they whack into you and turn you all fucking bonkers and shit.
Maybe they got scared of making an origin story because of how bad. And I know it was technically a prequel, but you still got an origin story in it because of how bad Exorcist, with the beginning, the one with Skarsgård, how bad that did.
But it doesn't need to be. I'm not asking for a complete origin story. I'm just asking for somebody to.
Or somebody like somebody to come in and examine it.
Out there to looking for reasons, like Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead or Ash versus Evil Dead. The whole TV show is about him dealing with the fucking Necronomicon. I can't remember fully the last Evil Dead Rise. I cannot remember anybody saying the word Necronomicon in that fucking movie. I can't remember seeing the book in that movie. Was the book in that movie or was it all recordings, audio recordings?
I need to have a look at this.
And see, that's the thing about it. They don't feel like rewatchable movies to me. It's like you've seen it.
Which, the first one?
No, the new ones.
The new ones.
The originals, I'd watch them over and over and over and over again because I know it's leading to somewhere else. Why? This is just...
Yeah, sorry. The Necronomicon, specifically titled Necronomicon Ex Mortis, is it does appear in all films and the TV series.
I can't remember it in Evil Dead Rises. I'm not trying to shit in anyone's brain. I'm just saying I would like to see some progression. If you're going to give me more and more and more and more of something, then move the story along with it. Don't just fucking keep throwing the same fucking thing at me with the... It's the same thing I've said about Scream, and you know I love Scream. It's how many times are they going to pull off the mask and it's just going to be some random fuck under there?
Do you know why you can't remember the Necronomicon in the first movie?
Why?
Because it's called the Naturum Demento in the first movie. Necronomicon is catchier though.
Yeah. I don't know. But, again, that's just my 2 cents. I think progression would be nice, even if it's a little progression, even if it's little baby steps as we go along. Just something feeding us something that will interconnect stuff eventually and give us a grand finale of some fucking sort, rather than here is these random recordings and this random book, and we can't explain where it came from, and we can't explain where it's going to go next. But it's going to fuck everybody's day up, and then it's going to piss off, and we are going to ignore those characters and move on to a fresh set of characters.
As far as I know, the book, and I'm not just saying it because it's the Book of the Dead, as far as I know, in the whole franchise, it is an Egyptian book. Like, you know, like they kind of know where it comes from, but I would like to see, although I think it's creepy that it could come for anybody because they're all unrelated in the new ones, you know, that kind of way. Like it is creepy that it could come from anybody. But what I'm saying is I would agree with you in the sense of, like you said, like a detective, you know, like coming in and studying it rather than completely going back to when it was first written and getting a movie centered around how it acts.
But we got that already. We got, like you said, Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness, but if you go back further, it's actually the Egyptian book, like.
Do you know where the Necronomicon actually comes from? Not a real thing.
No, I know it's not a real thing. But what I'm saying, in the franchise, it is Egyptian. But I know this, but it's not coming to me. And although I Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft, because they actually say that, because in the franchise, it was first written by the in some parts they say it was written by the Dark Ones. Then they call them priests, and then they throw around Lovecraft at one stage.
It comes from, that's as far as I know, the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon.
Yeah.
It's definitely in one of his books. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because even he knew you needed to interconnect this shit a little bit. But apparently not the people who are running the Evil Dead at the moment. Bruce Campbell wasn't sick.
If you bitch any more about the Evil Dead, I'm going to start bitching about the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you're going to do that to my favorite, I'm going to do that to your favorite.
Fucking try it. Try and find one bad thing about that movie. Go. It's about what I thought.
It's too smelly.
You can't smell it.
Oh, yes, I can fucking smell that movie watching it, but I think that's what's amazing about it also.
And what? They're all fucking squeaky clean in the Evil Dead, are they?
Well, Well,
They're not
deadites aren't.
blood-soaked and fucking living in an infested house of fucking corpses and fucking rotten
When
people.
when I watch that with people that haven't seen that before, like
It's
new
fun.
people, no, I am always get to the tree rape scene, because everybody's reaction is
Yeah.
always holy fuck.
My brother is 17 years younger than me. So he has a lot of catching up to do when it comes to these kind of movies and stuff. And I made some joke around him because I knew I'd shown him The Evil Dead.
I remember
here.
it. I loved watching his reaction when we were
And he
watching
came
it.
over here, and next thing he was, we were there. I was like, I made some joke. Can't remember what it was. And he looked at me. He was like, "What?" And I was like, "Do you remember that movie we watched on The Evil Dead? The movie we watched down at my house?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Wasn't that long ago, Joe? It was in the house I'm in now, so it was within the last." And you were old enough that I put it on. I mean, he's 21 now, so
He was
like,
17. He was
was like,
just coming
yeah,
up to
yeah.
18 because I was a bit wary about it. I was like, are we going to get in
And
trouble
he
for
just
this?
looked at me and he was like, "Is it the one with the tree?" I was like,
Yep.
And he just started laughing and walked off. So, I mean, it's unforgettable, obviously. But that's my point. That's the other big point I would make.
Have there be any unforgettable scenes in the new ones?
Evil
Is that what you
Dead
mean?
1, 2, and 3, I can remember perfectly. I have seen the remake 5 times. I cannot give you one scene from it.
Not even with
Not-
her licking the knife.
Nope.
Oh my God, that's the part that stands out to me, is where she has the knife and she turns it on the edge and she licks it and she slices her tongue and she's like,
Evil Dead Rise, I can remember the start with the water. Was that at the very start or at the very end with the water scene?
I'm pretty sure that was at the very start, and then Alicia Sutherland gets possessed, like she's the mother.
I know all that.
Oh.
And I can remember
You said you
what
couldn't.
their apartment looks like.
Yeah.
And I know there was a young boy in it, and I remember him listening to the recording. I remember the recordings. I don't remember any of the chaos or carnage or anything like that. I just knew there was a lot of blood there. And that's my problem with modern Evil Dead. They're forgettable. They don't stick in your brain, not the way the original was. I can't just say one fucking scene from one of those movies and someone will go, Evil Dead. I can with the other ones. I can point to specific things and say something and someone will remember the whole movie, start to finish.
Okay.
You mentioned the tree rape scene. It's like, I remember that whole movie.
Yeah.
You remember him going back in time. I remember that whole movie.
Yeah.
And it was one of the rare occasions as well where you had a horror series change course
And still be
going
amazing.
into the third fucking movie and go full comedy with it. And it still worked perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And then they found the right balance with Ash vs. the Evil Dead of comedy and horror and made it fucking work the whole way through. And again, there's really memorable stuff in that fucking show. I mean, the one that stands out the most for me is the one where he's stuck in the room talking to a Muppet version of himself.
Yeah, I remember that
You
one.
know?
Yeah.
And it just feels like the remake and all these standalones are forgettable throwaway movies.
Just means we're going to have to watch them
important
over and over.
like the originals. And I don't think that does justice to what was originally released to us. People are overwhelmed by the blood and gore in them, and that's what gets them by. That's why people are like, oh, Evil Dead, because it's blood, guts, and gore.
But I don't think
fun.
they're ever going to be able to make anything as great or as groundbreaking in the Evil Dead series as the first one.
Why not? No, that just means no one's trying. That's lazy thinking.
I don't think it's lazy thinking. I think no, I don't think it's lazy thinking. I think that the Evil Dead was one of those kind of defining kind of like.
Yeah, but the point is with this is the fact that someone
But
even
if you're
thought of
going
that
to
idea
call
originally.
it the Evil Dead, there's still parameters that you have to work with the Evil Dead. Like, do you not think so?
Chucky would disagree with you.
Would he?
He's been jumping between genres for fucking 30 years now. I know it, actually for 37 years now. I know because I'm 1 year older than the movie, the first movie. Came out in 88. And he has been jumping from one movie to the next without ever breaking his timeline. Without ever changing retroactively anything that happened in the past. He has just continued on and he's jumped from horror to comedy to campy, back to horror, back to comedy, back to
But yeah,
campy.
the first three did that. But that time that he went cute robot
was a remake.
Oh, okay.
That has nothing to do with the original franchise.
That's fair enough.
A movie that again I'm not a massive fan of, but is at least taking risks here is Long Legs 2. And again, I reckon with Long Legs, if I watched it now, I'd like it. I think what happened,
It was built up in your head.
it was compared to Silence of the Lambs. It is not Silence of the Lambs.
No.
If you're going to have any supernatural element in a movie, do not compare it to one of the most grounded fucking... Because Silence of the Lambs isn't a horror, it's a thriller. You know, it is a very grounded serial killer movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine, Hannibal is a fucking crazy character in if you really think about it. If you overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
But we have had criminals, serial killers, who are just as fucking mental as him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Buffalo Bill, there's nothing fucking out of the ordinary there.
Mm-hmm.
We've, again, spoken multiple times about killers who have done very similar stuff to what he does.
Yeah.
So it's a very grounded horror and a very grounded story. And then you go in and you compare it. Just because the FBI are involved in the investigation, everyone's like, it's the best fucking movie since Silence of the Lambs. And then it's like, what the fuck is this doll shit going on about?
Yeah.
You know?
I can barely remember it, if I'm being honest.
And I mean, well, look, we know now that there is a new one in development. But this time they're going to go with a prequel story. So Osgood Perkins, who I once forgot was Anthony Perkins' son, and made a big fucking tit of myself on this show by going on about, oh look, he was in Psycho playing a young Anthony Perkins.
Because he's Anthony Perkins'
I was like,
son.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Osgood Perkins is teaming up with Nicolas Cage again. Apparently, the big draw here is the fact that the two collaborated on the last one. This is a Nick Cage idea as much as it is an Osgood Perkins idea. So they're going to try and make Long Legs 2, but they're going to go with a prequel to try and explain, I suppose, to get deeper in to Nicolas Cage's character of Long Legs. So that's one of the biggest shakeups behind the scenes here is... Well, one of the biggest shakeups behind the scenes here is Paramount Pictures have acquired the rights to the new project, not Neon.
Okay.
So Neon did the original, they're out, Paramount's in.
Okay.
Which I assume means more money. But a lot of people are saying the biggest issue here, or the scariest thing about this movie, is that it might undo some of the mystery of the first one by going a bit too far in. Because a lot of people reckon that the beauty of the first one was not really knowing a lot about Nick Cage's character in it. And that it was a bit of a mystery and you were left wondering. And sometimes that is the best kind of way to deal with these movies, is to leave some open-ended fucking parts and let the audience kind of think for themselves and imagine the stuff that could be happening.
Yeah.
You know? But in this case, they're going to go backwards. They're going to give him a bit of a backstory. Hopefully, it doesn't weaken what's already been laid out. But this could be the early stages of what they're now saying could be a potential Long Legs cinematic universe. The LCU.
The LCU.
God damn. Can't we just we don't have to call everything a universe.
No.
We can work it out. Well, I suppose that's rich coming from us in the Horrorverse, huh?
It's a horrorverse, not a universe. Potato. You know, our youngest is obsessed with Nicolas Cage at the moment.
Yeah.
Fucking.
That's just because he's a fucking meme, a walking, talking meme, and our son is a walking, talking meme fucking eater.
/ entertainer.
So yeah, well, the original film did become one of the most successful indie horror releases in years. So the studios are clearly looking to expand the world into multiple stories. So I'm not against that. I'm going to watch that movie again solely because I feel like it kind of muddied the waters a little bit for me walking in there expecting something a little more grounded, and I got something a little more supernatural. So I wasn't in the right frame of mind looking at it and caught off guard by the ending a little bit too much.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes of it. But I'm looking forward to that. I want to see more of it. I think, despite how I felt about the ending of Long Legs, the character, Nick Cage's character, I was interested in him. I wanted to know more about him. I wanted to see more of him. That was another thing that kind of put me off in the movie, was it felt like he wasn't in enough of it. And he killed himself off way too early in the movie before things could be fully explained to me, you know, and that kind of threw me off a little bit too. But I mean, for one of the, at the same time, it's probably one of the coolest killer deaths in a movie, because that's where he just starts slamming his face into the fucking into the steel fucking table, isn't it? And he just keeps bashing and bashing and bashing and bashing because he's been caught. He's in police custody at that point.
Yeah, it reminded me of Kurt Sutter or Hereditary. Those are two awful scenes as well, like that. Kurt Sutter with his tongue, and Hereditary when the son is sitting there and he slams his head into the school table.
Kurt Sutter of Sons of Anarchy fame?
Yeah, in Sons of Anarchy. And he... Sorry, what did I say?
You said Hereditary.
Yeah, because I was on about the son from Hereditary as well. I said...
Oh, sorry, I picked it up wrong. It was just like you said Kurt Sutter in Hereditary.
No, and Hereditary.
And to me, I was like, I don't remember that.
No, he wasn't in
Hereditary at all.
No. But you know what pissed me off about Longlegs? I saw promotional stills for Possum. And for some reason, I got it mixed up with Longlegs. And the promotional stills looked pretty gnarly from Possum. And I was waiting for those scenes the whole way through. I was like, where the fuck are they? Had they been cut from the movie?
Where's the weird thing with the long legs?
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Anyway, as I said earlier, Chucky's back.
Yeah.
That guy never lets anybody down.
Why can't they just let this franchise go, Josh?
A good guy will never let you down.
Oh, boy.
Because he's your friend till the end, Amy.
So
till the end. He will keep coming. Like he said, he'll be back. He'll always come back. But
I think those trees are pretty friendly as well.
So Child's Play franchise, it isn't done yet. Creator Don Mancini has officially confirmed that he is writing the next Chucky movie and plans to direct it himself, bringing the iconic killer back for another round of chaos. This new film is being designed as a return to theaters, marking a big shift for the franchise. But since See the Chucky, I don't know, did Bride get a theatrical release? I assume it did. I was too young at the time. That was 1998. I can't remember it. I was only 11. But See the Chucky, I remember that went straight to DVD because my mate got it the day it came out and we went straight to his house to watch it.
Of course did. I know who that was. Betcha I could put my in it.
Yeah, Barry.
Yeah.
That's where we watched all the stuff we weren't supposed to watch. Parents left us. So Mancini has said he wants to pull Chucky back into a proper cinematic experience where the laughs, kills, and insanity can hit harder with a crowd. In terms of tone, the plan is to go darker and scarier again, taking inspiration from Curse of Chucky, which reset the series into a more grounded and horror-focused direction after the over-the-top chaos of the early entries like Seed of Chucky. But the beauty of it is he is going to do the right thing. It's not a reboot. It's not a standalone. It's set to continue the same timeline as it has since 1988. How can you have a standalone Chucky movie? Did it not look like Curse of Chucky was going to be a standalone? It had no other characters in it from the older movies at the beginning.
Which with Fiona?
Yeah. The very first one with her in it. The start of that movie links nothing to... We don't learn that it's a fucking sequel till about 3/4 of the way through the movie. And Tiffany doesn't show up until the very fucking end of the movie.
Yeah.
And then Andy shows up in the fucking post-credit scene.
Which means by the end of the movie, you know it's not a standalone.
Exactly. But they started it making us think we were watching a reboot or a standalone, a remake of some sort. And it was like, no. We're going to do what we always did and continue the fuck on. And that's what you need. That's what these horror movies keep fucking up on. This idea of we need to reset universes and go back and demolish everything that came before.
Well,
I understand it in stuff like Halloween and Freddy and stuff like that, where things went so off the fucking wall.
But you had to rein it back and retcon.
You really had no fucking choice.
Yeah.
Because, I mean... once you've done it once and things start to fuck up, you kind of have to keep doing it. And look, Halloween Resurrection really did kind of set a bad tone for what could have been going forward. We don't want to see Michael Myers in a comedy.
No.
You know?
No.
Well, I do want to see Mike Myers in a comedy. I just don't want to see Michael Myers in a comedy.
I don't know. Team up with Bruce Campbell. That could be At the end of it, Michael Myers takes off his mask and it's Bruce fighting himself the whole way through.
I'd prefer if he took off the mask and it was Mike Myers in there instead of Michael Myers.
The big Scottish accent.
Let me eat your babies. Anyway. So there is hints that familiar faces will return. Jennifer Tilly has teased that more Chucky and Tiffany stories are in the works, and longtime voice actor and legend Brad Dourif is still expected to return as Chucky even after stepping back from on-screen
But that's like the kind of thing he could record that at home in his studio like we do here and send it the tape.
But he doesn't. He does it fucking like a fucking legend.
Does he like do all the movements and all that in studio?
Him, when they did Bride of Chucky,
Yeah.
he insisted that himself and Jennifer Tilly record the lines at the same time in the same room. So
I can understand that. The chemistry and play off each other. Yeah.
So there's video. You can look it up on YouTube of the two of them in the room together. I've seen it in the documentary, the Chucky documentary. I can't remember. I think there might be two of them.
Okay.
Yeah, there definitely was one that came out last year, but it's in there. And you can see the two of them in the room together. And she was like, there was even scenes where we were crying together at the end, you know, and it was like in real life. That's the only thing that kills me to say and admit is that throughout, especially the first season of Chucky, the TV show, Brad's age was really starting to bleed through in the voice. You could hear the more tired, older, gruffer sound coming
through. But that worked then when he was dying, when he was in the White House.
But what's crazy is that by season 2, it was almost like he had perked up again. He was
maybe the man was sick.
Well, maybe that is the case. No, I'm not too worried in the sense of I think there's enough qualified, good voice actors out there. I mean, Bugs Bunny has been replaced.
You think that, but they fucked up with Kermit.
Yeah, what the fuck were they doing with that? But the point is, to the most part, I mean, Cleveland has been replaced in Family Guy, and it's unnoticeable.
Big Mouth.
Simpsons didn't even try. They were just like, oh, you're black, you're Carl now. You're black, you're Dr. Hibbert now. You're Indian, sorry, we're not doing that.
Not touching that with a 6-foot barge pole, buddy.
Apu doesn't live here anymore. No. He went back to India. And if he does come back, we're giving him a new job. He's going to be a taxi driver.
Solar Opposites did a good job.
Well, they didn't even try either. They just
they were like just accepted
it. It was like lean into it.
Get Dan Stevens.
And no, I can't even.
That was the most off the wall choice. When you said to me it was Dan Stevens, I was like, what?
And can you even remember?
No,
I can't. The original voice was just Rick's voice.
That's all, and I can't even imagine that voice now.
No. Is that over, or do we have another season of that?
I think we have one more season. I think that was the thing, that Big Mouth was finishing and we're getting one more season of Solar Opposites because I don't think we got an ending of the Wall storyline.
Oh, we did.
Did we? Oh, I need to watch that last season again. So
I think Solar Opposites might be
Don't do this to me.
It is. Yeah, it's done. We've got to rewatch all that.
Jesus.
I can't remember the last season all that well.
Justin Roiland. Couldn't think of his name.
Yeah. Technically got cleared of all charges, but
a lot of people get cleared on a technicality, but I'm not going to throw any shade.
Anyway. So yeah, I had a thing in there, but we don't need to do that now anymore because we've actually filled more than enough time. I thought we were
absolutely. Bride of Chucky is my favorite.
Yeah, I was going to say we could talk about our favorite Chucky movies, but we've actually got we're over 50 minutes now, and we still have the review to go. Bride is definitely up there for me because it was the first one I saw.
I just wanted to be her.
Oh, you get that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, well, I mean, you do the whole corset thing a lot as well, and that was kind of her style.
Was just very. I was happy to look like her when I got older. To be honest, looking at her, I'd be happy to look like her at her age now. Fucking hell, Jennifer Tilly is
hot as fuck. But yeah, it's hard for me to pick because I love them all a lot.
Seed would be number 2 because I love what's his name.
I hated Seed when it first came
Oh
out.
no! It makes me
No. I understand it now, but you have to understand it was a different time.
Yeah.
Even they themselves have admitted that Seed was just before its time.
Yeah.
It came out while we were still kind of starting to understand LGBTQ fucking lifestyles and accept them. It was kind of, we're kind of the first generation to kind of fully accept
it.
and embrace.
You do what you want to do. Yeah.
And at that stage, it was very in your face to people who didn't understand the situation. And I was young. So for me, it was just like, you've taken the scary doll and turned him into a joke. Why the fuck are we making Britney Spears jokes in this fucking movie? And that pissed me off. But no, I love it.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand it and I love it and I enjoy it for it. But I enjoy all the Chucky movies for different fucking reasons. But if I was to say which is the best Chucky movie...
Curse?
No, it's 2.
Oh, okay.
Child's Play 2 is the best Chucky movie. It's the scariest. It's it's just all around fucking best. I mean, even that scene of him burying the other good guy doll, Tommy, in the fucking grave, and they have the lightning, and he's standing there patting on the fucking thing in the back garden in the middle of the night. It's I don't know.
I can see how it's creepy, but I always think things like that are comical. I don't know.
Oh, but Chucky in general is comical. I mean, he's always had a bit of joke in him. I mean, even the first one, which came out as full-blown horror, had humor within it. Like when he's in the elevator, when he's trying to get back to Andy's apartment, and he's in the elevator on his own, sitting in the corner, and the old couple come into the elevator, and she's like, oh, disgusting, ugly doll. And then she leaves the elevator and you're like, fuck you, lady. It's like, no, it's fucking funny.
No, it is.
It's hard to do. You have to have a sense of humor going into a movie about a killer doll.
Yeah, especially when it clicks with you that you could just swing your leg. Go flying, Chucky.
And they have done that multiple times. But again, I wouldn't say size is always the best thing.
No, I agree with you.
The harder you fall, and if something's running around your legs really, really fast and getting around, especially something that you're already afraid of because it's out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine to say I'd kick it, but if a fucking toy came to life and started running at you with a knife, your brain still needs the time to realize that the toy is running at you with a knife before you do anything. And especially when you think about the first one, when he first comes to life in Karen's hands, a woman who hadn't believed her child the whole way through the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And he suddenly comes to life. It's not like a subtle kind of fucking thing of, I know he's alive. She threatens him and he comes out screaming. I mean, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, it's really funny when you watch that in Spanish.
And it's like, whoa, shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's intense. It's fucking, and even emotionally how it plays with Andy. Like, you know, at the end, I feel bad for Chucky as he's about to burn. And then I realize what's going on. And it's like, no, fuck him. And actually, funny enough, that's an ad-libbed line by a very young Andy Barclay.
Really?
When he when Chucky kind of is like, oh, but we're friends and all this stuff, I think I might be wrong, but I think his line is something like, this is the end, friend. And then he lights the match and throws it into the fire, and it's a gas fire, obviously.
I remember the line. Yeah.
But apparently that was just something he said at the time. They were like, perfect,
works.
You know,
what a smart little young
way
fella.
he delivered it or something, but. It was, they were happy with it.
Okay.
Look, I'm never going to be angry at new Chucky because new Chucky never lets a man down. Like I said, a good guy will never let you down.
Yes.
Friends till the end. Now, I wanted to do this review specifically this week because of my own little twisted mishap. I reviewed and spoke to Sean Nichols Lynch about his movie This House is Totally Haunted, and found out later that it was a sequel to another movie. And now he has admitted himself, and I've said it, and he said other people have said it, that these movies work in any order.
Yeah, they do.
You can watch it any way you want, and it works. But I reviewed that movie, and I spoke about that movie, and nobody else is going to get to see that movie unless you go to film festivals for another year or so. So, if you want to know more about this franchise and how it all kicks off, you could watch it the right way around. I would suggest the other way.
The other way.
But you can't do that right now, so just go watch this. The ceremony is about to begin because it's awesome. Do you want to give them the synopsis?
I will. So madness, mayhem, and mummification rites ensue when a documentary filmmaker visits the rural commune of an ancient Egyptian-inspired cult to interview its enigmatic leader. Directed by Sean Nichols Lynch, written by Chad Westbrook Hines, John Laird, and Sean Nichols Lynch, and starring Chad Westbrook Hines, John Laird, and Michelle Westbrook Hines.
Yeah, it's really a fucking
Tight-knit
close
community.
group that do it all together. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because obviously Sean Nichols Lynch is the cameraman and main character in This House is Totally Haunted.
Yeah.
John Laird is Mr. fucking Mr. Evans.
Oh, okay.
Chad Westbrook Hines is Anubis.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're
Sister or wife? Michelle Westbrook Hines.
not a clue.
Mother? Sister? Relation?
Not a clue. I would assume she is the girl that John Laird is there to see. I haven't looked that much up yet.
Oh, I was just curious if you knew if there was a relation. with...
I know she never came up in the conversation. I was
Ah.
talking to him. The others came up because they kind of collaborate together.
Okay.
But I'm not too sure. But so let's get into this one. The ceremony is about to begin is a perfect companion piece to This House is Totally Haunted, and depending on which one you watch first, it works equally well as a prequel or a first chapter. That's part of its strength. It's not locked into one rigid narrative order. Instead, it expands the world organically, rewarding viewers no matter how they enter the story. Like its follow-up, this film leans heavily into documentary style, and it uses the format smartly rather than as a gimmick. The interviews, archival footage, and investigative framing gives the story a grounded, almost true crime feel. It pulls you in early by making everything feel plausible, like you're watching something uncovered rather than something scripted. That sense of realism is what makes the horror land. The premise centers around a cult and the events leading up to a ritual that clearly isn't going to end well. But instead of rushing towards chaos, the film takes its time building context. It lets you sit with the people involved, understand their mindset, and slowly piece together what's really going on. That patience pays off because when things start to unravel, it feels earned rather than forced. What really stands out is how the film handles perspective. You're never quite sure how much of what you're seeing can be trusted. The documentary style gives the illusion of clarity, but at the same time, it raises questions about bias, interpretation, and missing information. That tension between what's presented and what's actually happening keeps you engaged throughout. There's also a similar tone to This House is Totally Haunted, a balance between genuine unease and a slight edge of the absurd. It never tips too far in either direction, which keeps the film feeling fresh. The characters are believable, the performances natural, and the world feels lived in. As a standalone, it works. As part of a larger narrative, it works even better. The ceremony is about to begin proves that found footage still has plenty to offer when it's handled with intention. It builds atmosphere, tells a compelling story, and leaves just enough unanswered to keep you thinking. A smart, engaging, and highly effective entry into this growing horror universe. And it is growing because he told me personally that there is more to come. This House is Totally Haunted is only part 2 of a story that they're not even sure how long it'll go. Okay. They haven't even decided how much more, but he did kind of state that he'd like there to be a fucking collection of these.
Yeah.
And to have them have the ability to be a kind of watch in whatever order you want. It's not, you can watch one standalone and go backwards, go forwards, go any way you want, and the story will always make sense regardless of where you jump in at.
Well, it's like what we were saying at the start as well about a good origin story. I loved the mystery of the second one, not knowing certain points and then getting the origin story then afterwards.
Yeah. So it's fun, but if you can, I wouldn't encourage people to wait a year.
No.
Go out there and watch The Ceremony is about to begin, because the more people watch these movies, the more people talk about these movies, the more these movies we're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the way it always works with all of these things. The more you talk about them, the more you go on about them, the more people support them, the more they will come at us. That's
Exactly.
why things like Chucky survive. That's why things like The Evil Dead survive.
Mm-hmm.
That's why things like Texas Chainsaw Massacre keep on going. But let's just keep this in the hands of the people who have created it and let them keep telling their story, because I'm loving it so far. So, yeah, I think that's it for this week. You can check out all our bonus material on Patreon at the Horrorverse Network. We have It's a Live Action, Playing with Bones, Celebrity Rap, Sheep Mini Monsters, Real Talk with the Doctor, Amy Rose's Photo Drop every Saturday. And that's about it. And you have Amy Rose, or Bunny Rose
IAA.
IAA on Instagram, and
Twitch.
Live Pod on Instagram and TikTok, but Playing Slay with Bunny Rose on Twitch. What's the handle now? Just
Bunny Rose IAA.
Bunny Rose IAA every Monday, 10 to 12 Irish time. Work that out to your own country, because apparently Vietnam are loving us lately.
Yeah. Hi, Vietnam.
Hey guys.
How do you say that in Vietnamese?
Fucked if I know.
I gotta look that up for the next episode so we can be all inclusive.
We'll have to start putting little subtitles at the end.
No.
But thank you for listening.
Yes.
We'll be back next week with more tales from the Horrorverse. See you all then. Same live time, same Horrorverse channel. Okay, love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.